Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance absolutely needed what we're going to talk about in just a bit, and I feel that this is one of Atlus's best decisions when it comes to the timing of their game releases in quite some time, and we're going to break down everything and the big update when it comes to Shin Megami Tensei V and how it affects everything surrounding the game. But before we get into that, what's good everyone, OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first, and check out the link in the description below because we are giving away 10 copies digitally of Princess Peach Showtime and a Nintendo Switch OLED. More details on that and the giveaway and the live stream that we're going to have, that's going to be awesome, in the description below. But let's go ahead and jump right into it here because Atlus has officially announced that Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance will now launch on June 14th. Now that is a week earlier than the June 21st release date that was announced back at the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase, and people are kind of wondering what's going on here. Now, a lot of you guys have talked about it and have told me, hey, I think it's this, I think it's this, but I think there's a combination of factors that we absolutely need to put in here, and it can also be a test case for other developers out there to make sure that you plan these timings right, because you never know what's going to happen if you mess up. I'm pretty sure the Sonic Superstars developers know all about this when they decided to kind of go too close to the sun, flying too close to the sun when it comes to Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So we're going to go ahead and get into that in just a bit, but I felt that this was a brilliant move by Atlus here. Now let's just talk about Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance, just briefly what the game is about, because I still get questions about what this is. Is it DLC? Is it just a re-release with some small updates? I do have an everything you need to know about Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance video on the channel. I'll have that linked in the description, but briefly I'm going to go over what it is. So essentially it's this. It's a re-release of the original 2021 game, the original title that came out then, but with a brand new 50-hour plus, up to maybe even 80-hour campaign jammed in there, in addition to a bunch of quality of life features, new characters, new main characters as well, story enhancements, and demons. It's essentially a brand new game packed into the previous game. So whether you're a newcomer or you're someone who's already played and beat the game, you're going to want to check out this if you're a fan of SMT or a fan of SMT5, because that brand new campaign fixes a ton of the issues that people had a problem with. And we'll see how the Nintendo Switch version runs and looks and everything, but there were some people that were upset with the frame rate and the performance of the game on the Nintendo Switch. Well, now it's coming out on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, and it's looking fantastic, and we'll talk about that in just a bit because we do have an update. The thing about this, why I feel that it's brilliant, is because they're moving it away from the Elden Ring Erdtree DLC. Now, Elden Ring, one of the biggest games of all time when it comes to sales, when it comes to popularity, ratings, all of that. Elden Ring is huge, and while it's just DLC, I think Elden Ring is big enough to the point where it commands pretty much a full release. You're going to have new people who maybe didn't have a PlayStation or Xbox or PC to play this game that are going to be getting it now with the DLC. You're going to have a ton of people hopping back into this game, and it's going to dominate that week. Now, it's only 1 week prior, but I still think that that 1 week is absolutely crucial when it comes to planning what people are going to play, putting aside time, whatever the case is, and that could literally be the difference between somebody giving a chance to Shin Megami Tensei V and or just not playing it at all because they're putting everything aside to really get into Elden Ring DLC. So I think that it was brilliant that they did that. Elden Ring, such a huge game and franchise, you don't want to be on the same week as that, so that's probably the main reason why. But there's also another reason that people aren't talking about, and I want to discuss because I think this is going to be a bit bigger than people are giving it credit for because they're upset about the price of an old game per se. So let's talk about Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Now, they want to get it away from that date because that game launches 1 week later from the previous release date, or 1 week later from the Elden Ring stuff. So it was going to be about a week before that game as well. Now you're 2 weeks before that game, and it gives people plenty of time to go in there and say, okay, I'm gonna pick this up, play it. If I beat it within that time frame, it might be hard, right? Because it's a pretty big game, but at least I can play that for however many hours. And if I'm going to get Luigi's Mansion, it won't be too close in proximity. I can work, make some more money, whatever the case is. It just gives more time and mind space when it comes to what Nintendo fans could be buying, because I've got so many inquiries about SMT5 from Nintendo Switch players saying, okay, I might want to give this one a shot. And even people who waited, knowing how Atlus does things, waited for an enhanced version of the game with more content, because Atlus has been doing this for decades now with most of their releases. I think that Luigi's Mansion 2 HD is going to be a big game. People forget that Luigi's Mansion, when it comes down to it, is a 12 million plus seller on the Nintendo Switch. Luigi's Mansion 3, Luigi's Mansion 2, or Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, that is a old Nintendo 3DS game at this point, and it did sell well on the Nintendo 3DS, but the 3DS at this point is so old in terms of its popularity and when it was around and all that. I know it was just the past gen or whatever, but at the same time, like, the Switch is taken over, and there are millions upon millions of people who didn't have the Nintendo 3DS but have the Nintendo Switch, and so many new gamers, people that probably were really young back then and couldn't get it on the Nintendo 3DS, that are now adults that can buy whatever game that they want, or now that they're teens at this point and they've seen the Mario movie, or just new fans. There's so many people that are going to have access to this game that didn't have access to it before. And of course, Nintendo shut down the Nintendo 3DS shop and all of that. So it makes perfect sense that this game could blow up as a summer title coming off of the Mario movie, although the Mario movie was last year, but people are still watching it. It's coming back into theaters. It makes perfect timing. So I think that they wanted to also get further away from Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Now, once again, people are saying, oh my gosh, it's not that big of a deal. It's $60 and all that, but I'm telling you, this game is going to be bigger than people are giving it credit for, just because it's the Nintendo Switch. It's Mario. Luigi's Mansion 3 did incredible, and people are going to see the game and say, okay, I want to try this one out. And it has online multiplayer, like, it has quite a bit of features. It's a game that necessarily isn't the best Luigi's Mansion game out there, but it's still a good, solid game in my opinion, a good solid 7 or 8 out of 10. So that's why I think they said, hey, let's just get 2 weeks before that game, a week before Elden Ring DLC, and we should be good. So good call on Atlus moving it away from there and that first party Nintendo release. We also got updated screenshots for the game, and goodness gracious, guys, it's looking beautiful. 4K screenshots. It shows off some of the new characters, the demons, new path that you can do. As someone who 100%ed the original SMT5, and it took me 130 hours. I forgot how long it took me. I know I talked about it in a video review, but man, this game is already massive. And now that they're adding this in, this is going to be a huge game, but the game looks incredible as well. Now with the PS5 and Xbox Series and PC coming into the fray, it's looking so clean. Looks like it's going to be 4K 60 on PlayStation 5 and on Xbox Series X, at least 1440p, 60 frames per second on Xbox Series S. And I'm really hoping that they stabilize that 30 frames per second on the Nintendo Switch version and stabilize the resolution as well in terms of how they do it. They've got plenty of time to get that done, so I do think that it will be enhanced over the original SMT5. So no matter what platform you play it on, it should be a solid experience. But for me, I'm definitely going to be picking it up on the PlayStation 5. Now remember, nothing transfers over from the Nintendo Switch version in terms of story. All you get is that if you have a save file for the demon compendium, you get a few different demons or something like that. So it's not anything crazy. So essentially you're gonna have to start over from scratch, with the exception of a few demons here and there. So there really isn't too much of a benefit when it comes to having a save file on the Nintendo Switch and playing the next one there. So for me, I've already played it and beat it on there, so I want to check it out on PS5 for me. And I'm pretty sure the PC version is going to be insane in terms of what they're doing graphically and frame rate wise with that. Now remember though, guys, it is a turn-based RPG, so there's only so much you can do with that, but there are open-ended segments. Obviously, the loading times and things like that are going to be much better overall. And I'll also say this, adding the ability to save anywhere is absolutely needed, especially when you have consoles into the fray here, where if your power goes out, well, there goes your game, right? When it comes down to it, there was no saving anywhere that you want. You had to go to certain specific spots to save. So I think that with the consoles, you had to add that, because if your power goes out while you're playing the Switch version, even if it's docked, it'll just go to handheld mode and you should be okay. So yeah, that was a good improvement, in addition to a bunch of other things that they're doing to improve the game as well. So it's looking great graphically. I'm excited to see exactly how this one plays out, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys think about it as well. Now, I do want to talk about one more thing, and I'll probably have a separate video talking about this, but since I'm going to be playing the game on Sunday with our big Princess Peach sponsored stream with 10 digital copies that we're giving away, in addition to a Nintendo Switch OLED, I wanted to discuss just briefly the Princess Peach Showtime reviews. Now, on two of the major aggregate sites that we have for reviews, on Metacritic, it has a 75 out of 100, so 7.5 out of 10 average for the game, which is solid. That is a green positive average review score. And then on OpenCritic, which is the other site that we have that pulls together reviews, it has a 76 as of the time of me recording this video. So pretty much right around the same. This is a 7/8 out of 10 game, which I actually accurately predicted that it would be right around there, mid to high 70s, somewhere in that range. And that's exactly where we are at this point. Now, I wanted to go over some of the bullet points of what people say positively about the game and what they say negatively about the game. So the positives first, there's cool power-ups for Princess Peach. There's a lot of variety in terms of settings and what you're doing. The charm of the game is just brilliant. People love how Princess Peach is super cool animations and different types of places she goes to. That's something that's really brought up quite a bit with the game. There's no bugs or glitches or problems like that. The game is very clean in terms of the performance and what it does. There's interesting locations to go to, so it's just cool in that type of sense. The negatives are, some people feel that the graphics are a bit dated, that it's a basic type of game built for a child audience. The level design is not the best, and there's not enough challenge in the game, which I did point out that there doesn't seem to be enough challenge. Now, there is the rehearsals where you can go for the best time, and if you get hit one time, you're done and you have to redo it, but I'm guessing that's not necessarily the most challenging thing out there, and the main game is a bit too easy at times. So I can understand the positives and the negatives with the review roundup so far, but once again, I will go over it potentially in a more in-depth video, but I am focused on playing the game myself and giving my own review after I've pretty much 100% of the game or gotten close to doing that. So look out for it. Princess Peach Showtime is looking like it's going to be a great game so far. It's going to be a solid adventure for kids and for Mario/Peach fans to pick up. And I also wanted to mention that there were people in the reviews that also felt that it didn't capture the kids of all ages feel that you would see for a game like Luigi's Mansion or for a game like Super Mario Bros. Wonder in terms of what it does overall. Like, it was a little bit too much slided towards the child audience and not more of that happy medium that Nintendo goes for, which once again, I do agree with that criticism as well as of what I've played from the demo. Now, when I play the full release, that could change, but from what I've seen and from what I've played, I kind of agree with that as well. So that's going to wrap it up for this video here, guys, talking about SMT5 Vengeance and Princess Peach Showtime. Let me know what you think about both of these topics here in the comment section below. All right, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, click that notification bell, check out our Princess Peach and Nintendo Switch OLED giveaway, link in the description below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.